I'm gonna try to find it now.
What is today?
Monday. The
Happy
6th.
Monday.
Happy Monday. As I try to find this, I can't multitask very well. But
We are at Lady in the Mug in Coral Springs. That's probably backwards.
with our mugs, probably. Trying to find this. Oh, we're live. So how do I go here? Click on here?
Yeah, just click and then lower your volume.
Okay. We are good.
All right.
All right. See, we're getting better at this.
Oh, Martha Lerner is watching.
I'm watching.
I'm Paulina Splechta, birth photographer.
I am Martha Lerner of zenmamalove, birth stuff and beyond. And we are here to talk to you live along with my assistant.
Let's show
who's
your
next to
assistant.
me. He's my assistant. Say hi, assistant.
Hi.
See, he's doing our editing right now. He's mixing our sound for us as we speak. Oh my gosh, this is perfect because we have the very lovely and beautiful Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer Radney, joining us.
Get a chair.
Thank you.
Have a chair. Let's all get in
Scooch.
here.
Just had a
This week's
fabulous
episode is about doulas.
Brought to you by Lady in the Mug.
Lady in the Mug. Feel free to grab yourself anything inside.
Yeah, if you want
in
to
a minute,
before.
at any point. So we are just getting started. We literally just went live right now.
And I saw the notification as I was pulling
Oh,
it.
perfect. Okay. Okay. So once again, I'm Paulina Splechta, birth photographer,
Martha Lerner, doula.
and
Jennifer Radney, doula.
yay, I'm surrounded by doulas. Doula sandwich. Okay, so this week we really wanted to talk about what doulas are, because a lot of women just don't know. I didn't know before I had Kate. I had never even probably heard or read the word. So let's take it away, Martha.
So, what is a doula? A doula is a woman who is trained in birth work, who has undergone hopefully some sort of training, and is there to provide support for the laboring mama and her family. So in terms of support, we're not talking about any sort of clinical support. That is, we're totally hands-off clinical. We're talking about
Medical.
informational support.
Yes.
We're talking about emotional support. We're talking about physical support, like hands-on physical support. And we're there to help the moms by giving the moms all of this stuff and this support. We're hoping to empower them and allow them and remind them on how to advocate for themselves. Because it is not our jobs as doulas to advocate for them, but to remind them that they've got this and they have the power and they can advocate for themselves.
That's right. And hi, Rachel. Rachel Horta.
Hi, Rachel.
Of Direct Primary Care is watching.
Nice.
If anyone has questions about doulas or anything birth or pregnancy, feel free to pop them down below and I'll read them as they're coming in. So now that we know what a doula is, well, hang on, can I ask you this question? We touched on this last week, but can doulas deliver babies? Is that what they're for?
They are not there to deliver babies. Doulas are not midwives.
Okay.
Some doulas can be trained as birth assistants, which I'm duly trained that way, but we are not there. Our purpose is not to deliver a baby. I personally am not comfortable, I don't know about you, for somebody who's looking for an unassisted home birth and is looking for a doula. I'm not quite comfortable in that situation, although I'm happy to support home births as a doula. If it's unassisted, I really feel like it's not my thing.
I was trained also that crosses a line, because I do feel like if you feel like you need the support, then they might look for us and misunderstand what our role truly is.
Right.
So if you truly are looking for unassisted, whatever empowers you, whatever your choice is, whatever your birth preference is, yes, that's for me to support you. But once you start crossing over, truly it's the legalities of it, of being allowed,
safety,
and we're not allowed to. So I do maintain that scope of practice within what's legal.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd love to hear from you ladies I get this question a lot from my birth clients. So when I get birth photography clients, they are really curious, like especially like the moms who are first-time moms and they have a really supportive partner or a really supportive spouse, right? Mm-hmm. Or they could be like a second or third time mom who have done this before, and maybe that just this time they want a little bit of a different experience. A lot of moms ask me like, why, I don't think that I need a doula, or why do you think I should hire one? Because I already, I've got my OB or I've got my midwife, but like why would I need like that extra support? Like my partner is there for me and my mom's
Right.
gonna be there. So this is like a very popular question that I get asked frequently, but and I always answer it very thoroughly, but I would love to hear it from your perspective as practicing doulas, what you feel would make a doula a great part of every birth team.
Right. I think that's a very good question, because same thing, you feel like you have a supportive husband, or you feel like I've given birth before, so why do I need a doula? I think everyone could benefit from a doula, and everybody should have a doula, because every birth is different, every experience is different, everybody's seeking a different type of birth. And
Let's talk about kind of like the different types of
let's talk about first-time moms.
So you guys get a lot of different clients. You get first-time moms,
Right.
you get moms who have had previous C-sections and want a
Right.
vaginal delivery.
Right.
You get second, third-time, fourth-time mommies. Many different scopes. So let's talk
Right.
about a first-time mom. Why would she want to possibly consider hiring a doula?
I think that because birth is just so brand new, and you don't know what you don't know. First off, on your first birth.
That's true, yeah.
You don't know what you're going to feel. You don't know what it might start like. There's so many variables and so many unknowns that chances are your partner, it's new to them too, or if maybe they've had one or two experiences, who knows, but chances are it's new to them too, so they're going to be a little nervous, and they're going to need some support also, and they're going to need some education also. So
that's actually, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's actually a really great point that you bring up, and I was thinking about this today, that so I have 2 kids, and my kids are 3 and 6, and anytime that I'm not feeling well, so if I'm sick, or if I'm super tired because I had, a late birth or a long birth, I feel like my husband, who's normally a super dad, like 7 days a week, suddenly starts drawing from my energy. And next thing I know, I'm like looking at him and I'm thinking, where is my super supportive husband who looks like he needs some support? Like he needs me to go back to my original position of being super mom for him to be able to be super dad. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking like birth makes us, it's just part of life that when we go into labor or when we go into our birthing space, there is a certain level of vulnerability that we feel, and sometimes our partner or our spouse can draw from that energy. And even though that they're the super supportive person, like I've even seen spouses, or excuse me, I think I spit on you. No. I've seen spouses who are even like EMTs or like even, pediatricians.
Yep.
In that moment, they start feeling vulnerability.
absolutely,
Because this is
completely
not their
normal.
patient, this is their
partner who
Yeah.
they love.
I feel like our role as a doula, specifically how this ties into what you asked, is to hold that space. So no matter if it's your first or if it's your third, just like your children are going to be so different, the experience is always going to carry something different,
Yes.
and something significant. And I think that it's exactly that. It's our role to maintain that space. And I kind of describe it like the mom that's in labor, she needs to truly to step into doing it intuitively. She needs to be allowed a certain sacred space around her, almost like a bubble,
Yeah, I
where
agree
she
with that.
can be allowed that space to intuitively know what she wants, and then we're there to catch her.
Yeah.
And we talk about the hospital being that safety net, but truly all of us are that safety net around her, protecting her, but we're playing off of her lead and wanting her to step into it. And sometimes they can overstep that. So I feel like a doula kind of gives her that space,
They meaning the partners, or-
it can be the partner, it can be the mother-in-law, it can be the other nurses and doctors and stuff like that. but I feel like I'm constantly just watching her, and at the same time also in coaching them, I'll talk to whoever the support system is and strategically find out what are their pluses and talk about like what are your love languages, how do you want to be supported, so that they know they have a plan also.
Oh my gosh,
at this stage, this is how you really usefully can support her. But at certain stages, it's not a reflection of you. This is what you need.
Yeah, this
and
is
you're going to
true.
have to step out as well.
Right.
Because
That's
it's,
so true.
it's such a process, and there's
And
transitions.
it's long, and sometimes, you know, for them to be able to know, like, you know what, you can go take a nap now, or you can go
Totally.
eat
Oh my
now.
gosh, yeah,
you
I
can
can't-
go do what you gotta
Yeah.
do now. I've got her back. I'm not
Yes.
leaving
Yeah.
her. I will be here. Please rest,
Absolutely.
because she's
Right.
gonna need you to be
I mean, a lot
present
of
as
a
well.
lot of
Totally.
mommies that I see are in labor from. I mean, gosh, like, you know, like not intense, active, like super, you know, powerful labor, but they can be in labor that's even early labor for like 20, 25 hours, and
Permission to
Yeah.
do that is amazing. Yes, what she's saying.
yeah, be able to like step aside
Yeah.
for a second, and the partner or the spouse regain some energy by taking a nap.
Yeah.
You know, that can be so helpful so that they don't fall asleep later when mom, you know, delivers baby and really needs them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think also, what was I going to say about support? Oh, also strategically, I think our job is not to take away from whoever's wanting to support them. But, you know, there are moments where I grab the opportunity. They might not have thought of, this is a great lull and this is a great opportunity to take the husband and the wife, take a bath, massage her with oils, and kind of get things going and flowing. They might not recognize that they can take that type of an
Right.
intimate moment in
Absolutely.
the hospital
Oh
together.
my gosh, yes,
Right.
that's
Yes.
a good point.
And then you get to capture it.
Take it down now.
Yeah. But sometimes, like you said, they need permission
No, they do.
and
They
that
need a little
guidance.
guidance.
Yeah,
In
'cause there's-
every way.
I mean, that's a really great point, and we're kind of, I mean, you know, motherhood and birth is, you have to bounce around, you know. There's so many topics to discuss, but there's so many different things that you can do during labor to keep things going and keep things, you know, to meet your baby as quickly as possible. And a lot of the time when a woman is in labor, you're not trying to, how did I say this before? That like when I was in labor, I wasn't constructively thinking like, oh, what's my next step? What are my options? What can I do?
Yeah,
I was
you're
just
busy.
like,
You're
I was
getting
busy
through it.
experiencing
Exactly.
contractions.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
You
what you should
should
be
be.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All you need to worry
Right.
about.
So first time mommies don't really know what to expect because they've prepared for this. They've taken their childbirth education class. Maybe they've taken a supplementary class like hypnobirthing or the Bradley method to partner up with their partner or spouse. But what about second or third time
Right.
moms? Or what about moms who had a C-section before and now they found out from their provider that they're eligible to try to have a vaginal delivery with their second or third baby? Why would a woman in this kind of particular situation benefit from a labor doula?
I think that those are the ones that more quickly identify that they could benefit from a labor
This is
doula.
true, yes.
I think because they've been through it, they know what part of birth is like, and they know that possibly they have an idea that possibly or not, you know, it depends on the situation. It might have gone different that last time had so had this been XYZ been a little bit different. So for those moms, I think it's really important to have a doula to hold space for you, to remind you that you can do it, that if you've been cleared by your provider that says, yeah, you're a candidate for a VBAC and you want to try that, then you need that cheerleader to be by your side and to remind you, you can do this.
Yes.
Your body can do this. Just constant reminding and constant saying, this is normal. This is how it happens.
Because
It might be
it's so
different.
easy, I think, as women and as human beings to jump 10 steps ahead and think, how am I going to make it through the next 5 hours of contractions? You need somebody who's going to keep you in that moment and make
One
sure
at a
that you can
time.
make it one at a time
Yep.
instead of panicking right away.
And to get you to that point, like every mom, every C-section mom has that point where they got to the
Yeah.
first time, and then it was called.
And a lot of times it really is. The thing with birth is that it's not just the physical. There is
Yes.
so
Oh my
God,
much,
yes.
the mental and the emotional that
This,
comes along
yes,
with it.
yes.
So really what the doula is there is to help you clear when it comes to that emotional and when it comes to that mental aspect, a lot of times they just couldn't get past a certain point. And yeah, definitely, if you can't get past that certain point, there's no judgment. You've got to take that C-section, the epidural, that intervention, and you've tried your best. And we're there to maintain that element of, we don't want you to feel like a failure. You tried your best. You did what you could do. And let's maintain that this is still a beautiful baby and a beautiful positive experience and all of that. And then the next time, if you can go through it, because hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
So if you're a second or third time mom and you're looking for a VBAC, a lot of times what we do is coach them going through what happened that first time.
Right.
Where was that mental, emotional fear, and where was that blockage? And how can we coach you through that this time? And other supports, like maybe it's chiropractic, maybe it's massage, maybe it's all
Spinning
of these
babies,
other,
you know,
and we have other, maybe you need pelvic floor therapy during your pregnancy to shift you.
Absolutely.
And all of these things that we have, all of these other providers that are such a beautiful part of our birth teams, really support a mother, so they don't feel like I alone wasn't enough. You know, it's just a matter of going through and educating and supporting them, so the next time when that blockage comes up, they're free to just surrender and work through it.
But as much
it's
as
not
you
just
can,
physical.
Absolutely. And as much as you can, having those conversations before birth,
so
that you can get past those blockages before you're in labor, so that you, when you go into labor, you've got a cleaner slate than you did the last.
Absolutely. And I do think that when you do have that strong doula as part of your birth team, even, you know, like especially for the mommies who are first-time moms, right? They can help identify a lot of these things before you go into labor. And then once you are in labor, if things come up that no one foresaw coming up, they can help you identify and process that to be ready for the second time.
Right. Absolutely.
Because sometimes, like, you know, like with my first baby, I didn't really recognize what didn't go right the first time around. It wasn't until like years later that I looked back and I compared, like I was listening to birth stories from a local moms, and I was like thinking back on my birth story, and I realized, like, I identified, oh, this is where things didn't go the right way. And if I had perhaps maybe taken a childbirth education class, or hired a labor doula, or taken hypnobirthing, or worked with a midwife, then things possibly would have gone a different way. But it took me years to get that point. So if you do have an experienced labor doula with you during your pregnancy, supporting you, going through the motions of your prenatal visits, things coming up medically and psychologically, and then once you get into labor, they can help you be prepared way before, so you don't have to spend years trying to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it the next time.
Absolutely. And I think that kind of segues into the next point, which is that a doula's role can, I believe, and I know you probably share that belief, can and should be something that is there to help women through pregnancy, labor and birth, and the postpartum period. So
Absolutely.
It's not, I need you there for my birth because the contractions are going to hurt.
It's not just
so
that.
much more
Oh my gosh,
leading up to, which is exactly what Jennifer just described, leading up to labor and birth, so that you feel like you can surrender to even allow labor and birth to begin. Because a lot of women, we've seen it, who are late, and if you see them, it's because they're holding on, they're not ready, they're fearful, so they go 41 plus 2.
You know, I never even thought about bringing this up today, but I have seen women reach out to doulas well before they're even pregnant. I have seen this happen because I have seen, like, a lot of the amazing, like, you ladies and a lot of the amazing doulas that I work with in South Florida, in both, absolutely, in Palm Beach County, in Broward, in Miami-Dade, I see women who are trying to conceive, trying to get pregnant for months and months, sometimes years, and that is very emotional. And it takes a very emotional toll on a woman who's trying to get pregnant for months and months and sometimes years, and it's not working out. And having the support of somebody who has been through this with so many of their mamas can be so helpful, so that finally, you know, once mama does get pregnant, you have this incredibly strong relationship with this person who has been supporting you throughout your entire conception motion of
Absolutely.
your pregnancy.
Absolutely.
Tyler and Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
hi,
And
Tyler.
Sasha.
Yeah, and
Nice,
Sasha.
nice.
Hi, Sasha.
So do we want to talk about the how to find
Yeah,
one?
how to find a
Yeah,
doula.
we'll talk about that and then we'll come back.
How do we find a doula?
So
If you don't have any mommy friends.
if you don't have any
How do
mommy
you start?
friends, the first thing we instinctively do, I think, is we ask around. We ask people we know. You know,
You
we
can
ask on
your
Facebook.
you can
we
ask your OB, your
providers.
midwife.
Right, that's a good starting point, I think, asking around and all that. But I think it always comes down to also if your best friend had a doula that they loved, you got to look at the big picture. How similar are you to your best friend?
Right.
How
And what-
similar
and
is
what your
her
wants
birth?
are.
Exactly.
Yes.
What did she have a hospital birth and you're seeking an out of hospital birth? You know,
This
so
is very
look at what
important.
identify what you are looking for in terms of support and what kind of a doula would support that. Is it a hospital birth? Is it out of hospital? Is it, quiet and hypnobirthy? Is it no, I just want to make it to 5 centimeters and I want my epidural? Like
Right.
identify what you want and then find a doula that is experienced in that situation so that they can provide you the best level of care.
So you can go on Google.
You go on Google, you can read reviews on Yelp, on Google, on Facebook.
On Facebook
you know,
even. Yeah, you can type in doula on Facebook and see who you find locally and just start reading reviews. But I think that ultimately what it's going to come down to, and I think that both of you will agree with me, is that once you figure out what it is that you want, that you're hoping to achieve with your birth, hospital, out of hospital, medicated, unmedicated, maybe you're not so sure and you just write some bullet points down like you want skin to skin with your baby. Once you make that little list of yours and you start meeting with local doulas and asking them your questions about their experience and about their approach, ultimately it's so important to go with your gut instinct on who you feel you connected best with, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've had experiences where there was such a strong immediate connection, and she was very early on in her pregnancy. And yes, it's great if you have a client that already has an idea of her birth preferences. Thank you. That has an idea of her birth preferences. But sometimes you just know that you're somebody who needs support.
Yeah.
And you need the education.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's fabulous if you take that first step, seeking out a doula, and just knowing that I connect with you. And I feel like I was able to educate her and leave it open enough to allow her to decide for herself. And we had discussed changing healthcare providers. As I started to talk to her and educate her for herself to decide what her birth preferences were, she recognized that her doctor was not for her. That now, starting her second trimester, she was clearer on her wishes and goals. She needed to seek someone else out. So I was able to step in and provide her with different suggestions, knowing now what she wanted a little bit more. And then, interestingly enough, as she was in her third trimester and continued to educate herself and have a clearer idea of her birth preferences, she's now left her doctor and is having a home birth. And it's just a really beautiful progression.
Empowering.
Yeah.
Totally.
Very.
And I feel so mutually confident with her because she is doing that work as well. And I love those clients, even if she comes to me and says, I don't know, but I'm committed to learning.
That's good.
And you're going to be my partner in learning. And it doesn't matter whether I'm a hippie doula that loves doing them outside in the garden, or whether I'm an only hospital doula. I have the connection and I have that trust with you.
Yeah.
And I trust that you're going to take me anywhere that I decide to go.
And that's so good. And a lot, I didn't even realize this when we're asking how to find a doula. So a lot of my birth clients, they come to me and they tell me that, I really need some support for my pregnancy. And just based on where they are and where they're giving birth, I can give them recommendations. I might have a mom who's giving birth at a hospital in Miami, and I know who the doulas are down there, who are really well experienced in hospital births, who can help mama achieve the kind of birth she wants. Or I could have a client who's giving birth at home up in Boca, and I know who can help her up there. And it's so, it varies, because really you can reach out to almost anybody who's in the birth network. You can reach out to a birth photographer, you can reach out to midwives or OBs, even labor and delivery nurses, and they can tell you who are doulas that they've worked with in the past and had good experiences with.
And the beauty of it too is since we know each other, we all, the birth community here is, you know, it's a relatively, it's big but it's small.
Yes.
And we know each other, and I know who I can say like, I'm full for that month, but can you call Jennifer, because I know that you would be a good fit for Jennifer, because I know Jennifer. And that kind of thing is a beautiful thing too, is to be able to network and to provide, you know, other references for the moms who are looking for something once we know each other and stuff like that.
No, I think we're definitely, I have to say, we practice what we preach and we support each other
very
and we
much
get intimate with each other.
we very much believe in women supporting women.
Very much so, absolutely.
So, okay, what is our next topic?
I think we're good.
Yeah? No, yeah, we got it.
Anybody has any questions for us?
Okay.
You can always leave us a question, and any one of us can answer those questions as well. If you're watching this on replay and you have a question, any one of the three of us are available to ever answer your questions.
Absolutely. And you know how to reach us. I know we'll quickly remind you, you can find any of us on Facebook. Again, my name is Martha Lerner with zenmamalove. You can go to zenmamalove.com is my website for information on me as well.
I'm Paulina Splechta, birth photographer. We're actually doing this live video from my page, and I will tag both of these wonderful women and doulas on here so that you can find them if you have questions for them.
And I am Jennifer Radney. I'm Birth of the Goddess, and my website is birthofagoddesscoaching.com.
Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Oh wait, and stay tuned. Later this week we're going to be doing an episode. We're hopefully
doing an episode on VBACs.
On VBACs.
And there's a big VBAC workshop happening this weekend.
This weekend.
Literally across the street from where we are now.
Library.
Okay.
That way. So yeah, make sure that you look that up if you haven't already looked into that.
Okay, so we are at Lady in the Mug. This charming fellow. So we are at Lady in the Mug, and if you actually go north of here, straight down there, you'll hit the library. What is it called? The Northwest
Regional Library.
Yeah. And there will be a VBAC workshop.
Saturday, 11 a.m.
11 a.m. till 3 or 4.
Right.
So any couples who have had previous C-sections, who are wanting to learn more information about having a natural delivery after their previous C-section, or if you are a doula or birth worker, even a birth photographer or a midwife or an OBGYN, and you'd like to find out about the latest up-to-date medical statistics and how to know if a woman is a good candidate for a VBAC, we welcome you and invite you to join us. And if you'd like to find out more contact information for how to register for that, feel free to contact any of us and we will point you the right way.
Thank you.
Have a great week, ladies.